Welcome to South of Left Field. My name is Jimmy, and going to hopefully have something a little different this time. I'm going to try and put a link in on this video, so hopefully you can get to that in the box below. What this link does is it should take you to an article that talks about a study done by the folks at Princeton University. Now, I mentioned in earlier videos that there are a lot of people all across the political divide, people still up there on that playing field that I dropped out of, and they say from time to time, oh, those politicians, they don't pay any attention to us. They get our vote, they go up to Washington, D.C. or the State House or wherever, and they just don't pay any attention to us. Well, Princeton University in this study set out to find out if that was really true or not. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the spoiler. I was very impressed with this study. I even went back to the Princeton site itself and looked at the study. Bottom line is that our government passes laws and writes regulations and does it without any regard for what we believe or what we want. It does not matter whether 90% of the people support it or 90% of the people oppose it. The chances of getting passed, this study says, is the same. The only polling information that tends to line up with the chances of something being turned into a law is when the support comes from executives, investments, bankers, the people of the upper class. Now, for them, their support or their opposition has a significant impact on whether a law or regulation gets passed. But for you and I'm sorry, we are just flat out of luck. We truly don't have a voice. Now, I find this is probably got something to do with why we're not getting better health care in America. Polling information suggests that the general population is in favor of something, Medicare for all, socialized medicine, single payer, some kind of medical care for the general population that comes to us through government agency. And really, this is not socialism, this is not communism, this is the citizens of America. And remember, America is made up of Americans, but the citizens of America want the government to provide service. They want the government to take care of our health because this for-profit medical machine that has been created in the United States has gotten so outrageously expensive, most of us can't afford to use it. Looking at the Department of Labor information, I don't know how many people realize this, but 42% or more of the working population of America makes less than $15 an hour. 42%. We're talking close to half. And at 42%, even if your company offers you some kind of medical insurance, chances are your deductible is so high and the cost is so high that on less than $15 an hour, you can't afford to use it. Yeah, you're paying premium for it. You're paying part of the premium. And of course, these medical companies, they make billions and billions. There's no telling how many hundreds of billions of dollars in profit go to drug companies and medical companies and insurance companies. And the thing that I want to get people to realize is that every time they report, oh yes, we've made wonderful profits this year. Look, here's Pfizer. They have $4 billion in profit. Now, wait a minute. That's $4 billion that's come out of folks' pockets. It doesn't matter if it came through an insurance company or if your company's paying part of the premium. In the end, it comes out of your pocket. That's $4 billion out of your pocket that didn't treat anybody. $4 billion that didn't do anybody a lick of good. $4 billion in profit in a country where so many of our people either have no insurance or have it, and it's so pathetic they can't afford to use it. In the United States of America today, and this is something else that's supported by many studies, we pay, in many cases, twice as much as other countries that have some form of a universal health care, if you will. Now let that sink in for just a minute. We're paying first-class rates for clearly second-class service because the outcome, the health of the American population doesn't measure up. I mean, let's just name a few countries off the top of the list here. Well, Canada does it. Britain does it. France, Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, Spain. And you go over there and you will find country after country after country after country that provides health care for their citizens as a whole. And they do it for less than we're paying and get better results than we're getting. Who decided that this was smart? I mean, come on, I thought America was better than this. But there's a hurdle, there's a big hurdle in the way. Even though the majority of Americans support getting some kind of, let's say, Medicare for all. Let's just stick to that one for now. Medicare for all gets majority support out of the American population. That's not who influences our government. Doesn't matter how many of you, doesn't matter how many of me, doesn't matter how many of anybody wants it. If 80% of America took to the streets, it wouldn't matter. Because our government is not staffed with people who represent Americans in general. Our government is completely owned and operated by members of the upper class through these two big parties that's been around for the last century and a half. They've got a system really down pat and worked out. We've all been taught that there's no other place to go, that anything other than voting for a pub or a Dem is, a waste of a vote. Well, that's not true. That's not true. So with this new environment that we're living in today, with COVID-19 causing people lots of anxiety, with COVID-19 bashing in business profits, because, we're still seeing the losses ramp up. Companies having to lay off people. There was an airline in Britain that had to go bankrupt because it suppressed their business too bad already. Now, China, they did an extraordinary thing. They pulled out all the stops. They shut the people down. They put them in the homes, and they made sure they were taken care of, and they made sure they were fed. They kept the utilities going. They shipped in the food. They did everything necessary to keep their people fed and in place until they were able to bring it under control. And the number of cases in China has been falling. Well, I tell you what, people. You better believe, sitting down here south of left field, I'm going to be keeping a hairy eyeball on just what our government does and doesn't do. And so far, I'm not impressed. You really want to do something, you should just sit around here and give some thought to those pictures and those videos out of China. Nobody on the street. Totally empty roadways for weeks. But nobody starved. And I can bet you dollars to donuts not very many people are going to lose their homes, if any at all. Because they saw to it that their people were taken care of. Say what you will, that communist government, while it does a lot of things that I definitely don't want to see happening here in the United States, they do one thing I really would like to see here in the United States. They have a government that pulled out the stops, opened the wallet, put the troops in line, put the people in line, and took care of one another. They did it right. Here in Washington, you got school boards saying they don't want to close the school system because, well, the kids aren't that big of a threat, and it would be a burden to their parents if they were left at home. Lord of mercy. Folks, take a look at the link. Take a look at the link. Watch the video. The video in the link's only about 6 minutes long. You ought to get angry. If you want to do something, if we want to do something, we're going to have to do something about our government first. We're not going to get health care until we do. We're not going to get policies that help make our lives better until we do. Because right now, this is a government of the rich, by the rich, and for the rich. Not only are we missing in the halls, but we're missing in their hearts and we're missing in their minds. We're nothing but those people that we have to figure out how to get them to vote the way we want. And once the voting's done, they do exactly what I used to hear. They toddle on up to D.C. and they don't give us a second thought. Government of the people, government by the people, and government for the people. You're not going to find any economic equality. You're not going to find any value as a human being by having generalized health care available to everyone. Because I'll tell you what, I don't care what your color, I don't care what your religion. If you're an American citizen, I want to see you taken care of. That's what the government's supposed to do. It's not supposed to be an army sucking us dry. It's supposed to be an instrument that is staffed by citizens, that answer to citizens, that pay attention to citizens. Well, I guess I need to slow down and calm down. I do appreciate you listening. I hope this has provoked a little bit of thought, and I really do hope you'll take a little bit of time. Take a look at that link. You can read the article which lays out the information, or you can watch a little video. Personally, I like the video. You won't like the message. Anyway, I hope to hear from you, and I hope you come back to visit again.